and welcome to my review of Volume 2 of Pluto. This is a remake of an Astro Boy story by Naoki Urasawa, and basically taking this simple action-adventure detective story and turning it into more of a psychological thriller, more of a serious story, which is quite awesome because in this volume we get to meet Astro Boy. That's Astro right there. Didn't expect that, did you? Anyway, so the basic premise, there are set in the future with robots. The 7 most powerful robots around are being targeted by something that is coming after them and destroying them. So it's this kind of survival tale of these 7 robots all trying to figure out, okay, who's doing it, and as well as the rest of society trying to figure it out. And of course, things get more complicated. And this is the volume where things start to expand, and we start to get a bit more story. We see other robots that are being targeted besides the ones from the first one, and characters that are going to be with us in future volumes. So that's quite nice. And we get 2 main character introductions in this one. Astro, and a character named Brando, who we'll get to in a second. But here's the thing. This is Urasawa's version of Astro. Astro is a national icon in Japan. He's huge. This is like somebody taking Star Wars and saying, I'm going to do my own version of Luke Skywalker. Whoa, okay. Iconic character. So seeing how he twists Astro is fascinating, because this is not Tezuka's Astro Boy. Tezuka was telling a story for kids. So Urasawa manages to take the essential elements of Astro Boy. And this is important. I mean, Astro was built to be a 10-year-old boy. Dr. Tenma built him to be a 10-year-old boy, roughly. So Astro has that element of sort of childlikeness to him. But he's also been through all sorts of adventures, all sorts of stuff. So the question is, well, how does that involve in his psyche? He has this gravitas to him. He's seen so much. He has the world on his shoulders. And yet he looks like a 10-year-old boy. And because in this world, the more advanced the robot is, the more they look like a human, Astro is indistinguishable from a human, even for other robots, in some weird way. So he's very much straddling this line between humans and robots. And he loves humans. He loves humanity. And yet he's trying to protect humanity from, in a lot of cases, humanity's own creations. Very interesting. I love, as you can tell, what Urasawa did with Astro in this. It's great work with the character. And he makes a very interesting character out of Astro Boy. He was interesting to begin with, but within just an 8-volume story, how he adapts that is awesome. Anyway, so Astro now is part of the story. He's starting to investigate. I will point out that as of this volume, and again, no spoilers here, I'm trying not to explain any plot, but as of this point, this is not a Rock'em Sock'em robot adventure story. Astro isn't flying around busting holes in other robots. Astro's very much human. He has these amazing powers, but this is not flashy. This is a detective thriller. Now we also get some stuff with Brando. Brando is one of the other of these 7 powerful robots, and he was one of the other veterans of this Asian war. And he settled down. He's become actually a prize fighter. He gets into this giant robot sort of hard suit and fights other robots in it. And so he's kind of settled down, and he's found his niche in life. And he's a humanitarian, very nice character. And again, he gets targeted by this killer. And one interesting thing about this is that because now we're starting to broaden the focus into characters who are going to be with us for a while, we now get a more complex view of what are the results of this thing going in and killing robots. It's not just, killing this thing, killing this thing, killing this thing. These have after effects. These robots have relationships, and they have people who care about them and trust them. And they leave behind people who then have reactions to that. So you start getting into consequences, which is always interesting. So the characters here, again, Astro, Brando, and then Hercules, who then he's another robot who then becomes important later. And a character named Brow 1589. Now, this is a character that was introduced in the first volume, but I didn't mention because he was just sort of introduced. Brow went nuts and killed a man. Now, in this universe, robots are programmed to be incapable of killing a human. And Brow was so frightening that they basically put him in a maximum security prison and impaled him against a wall. And they're too afraid to even shut him down. They just sort of keep him there. And so Geschicht starts going back to him to say, okay, what does the killer instinct in a robot look like? And Brow 1589 has lots of interesting perspectives on this. And he has this kind of Hannibal Lecter feel to him, which is very, very cool in a story like this. So again, this is a volume which goes both deeper and broader than the first volume, which is darned impressive. We get more character stuff, more characters, and more reactions and relations among the characters. But things also get more interesting and more complex in this volume. Things are going to get a little more complex later. So as volume 2, things are just getting more and more interesting in Pluto. In Pluto, because this one's next.